Okay, so Be'ezras Hashem, we are going to pick up where we left off after a little bit of a break, back in Eretz Yisrael, and we're going to continue with our series of Shirim, and we're going to start off with the Ramchal on the Idrarabba, Adir BaMarom, picking up from the sugya that we left off at. Now, ultimately, what the Ramchal has been describing to us all along is the reality that externalized experience, externalized existence does not contain the essential spirituality of itself within itself. It needs to be drawn down and connected to that which is above so that what is below can be illuminated. That Hashem has created a separation, apparently, between the externality of things and the interiority of things, so that we, as individuals, as Bale Bechira, through volitional choice, which is developed upon the very delicate balance of concealment and revelation, so that we ourselves can choose from the concealed middle point where the light of godliness is not revealed to draw the light of godliness down, to allow the yud of Shakai to connect to the Shin Dalid, that which is below, to allow the Vav of the mitzvah to be drawn down into the matzah itself, into that which is impoverished and that which is empty, to reveal the wholeness and the inherent significance of all things. And the Ramchal has described how ultimately these two stages of experience, which are fundamentally connected to themselves, are both reflected of the element of Malchus, that everything is expressive of Malchus, everything that we encounter, everything that can be grasped in some sensual or intellectual way is going to always already be caught up within the realm of Malchus. If it can be named, if it can be grasped, if it can be identified, it's Malchus. And if it's Malchus, it's going to be composed of a diametrically opposed system, the interiority of Malchus and the exteriority of Malchus. The exteriority of Malchus, the external casing of Malchus, the feminine in its privation, in its isolation, as it descends down, is devoid of meaning, is devoid of content. It is missing its os. It doesn't have a sign that signifies the inherent significance of all things. There's no value point. There's no inherent significance at the heart of all of existence. The Tov, that Nukuda of Das, is not Niskala. And it's only through connecting ourselves to the light that exists above in the realm of Zer Anpin that we're able to draw that light down from Zer Anpin to illuminate the externality of Malchus. And that begins to be the formation of the world, the connection between the inner light that is hidden away by Zer Anpin, that ascendant masculine trait that now descends down into the externalized case of Malchus, of the Nekeva, which is going to be fulfilled with significance. But what the Ramchal spends a lot of time telling us is that we should never think that this is just the typical hierarchical order in which the masculine expression from above comes to fulfill the feminine privation from below, in the sense that the mashpia will always remain the mashpia and the makabel will always remain the makabel, and that the makabel is deficient and that only the mashpia is shalim. Because what the Ramchal wants to reveal to us is the inherent wholeness of Malchus, and in truth, all that is coming back down into Malchus to illuminate her and to give light to the inner expression of Malchus is in fact the lights that belong to Malchus themselves that exist in a hidden way above by Zer Anpin, that the Vav that's being drawn down into the matzah, the meaning that is fulfilling the impoverishment and meaninglessness of the destitution of the external reality of our experiences, is part and parcel of the external reality itself. It's the innermost point of Malchus. It's the pneumius of Malchus, so that what's coming back down into Malchus is not something new that Malchus never knew before, but rather it was the prior inherent self-sustained wholeness of Malchus that was removed and it was ascended up above, concealed from it. And when we draw that back down, we are refilling Malchus with her own content. We are allowing Malchus to express herself in the fundamental unity between the inner and the outer, between the Yud and the Shade, the secret of Shakai, which is the secret of the formation of the world. And we said that this very relationship that is being reflected in the emergence of Malchus from Zer Anpin is going to be the very same one reflected to in the higher process of Zer Anpin from within Bina. The only difference is that the womb of Bina is going to be Kel Shakai. It's going to be the formation that takes place with the unity of the unbridled light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu as expressed in the Shem Kel, which now demands the limitation of Shakai. And in Zer Anpin, what we're going to have is going to be just the name Shakai itself, which is the secret of the Yesod, and connecting it to the Ateres HaYesod. The Ateres HaYesod is that infinitesimal point of significance that exists within the lower expression of Malchus in her destitution, that is going to reveal to have within itself the potential of all of that which stands to be revealed down below. It's the Atar Sabris. It's the singular point of connection that connects the external nature of Malchus and the upper nature of Malchus. And as long as we have that innermost infinitesimal point of connectivity, of meaningfulness that descends from Zer Anpin above down below, which is the secret of the Atar Sabris, which gets drawn down into Malchus to create the Shem Shakai, which is the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So then we're going to connect to the upper realm of the Taryag mitzvos and the secrets of the tefillin and the tzitzis and all of the points of connectivity that exists between the spiritual realm and HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the apparent realm of destitution, which is the Taryag elements of the body, which appears to be devoid, which doesn't have its own tefillin, which doesn't have its own tzitzis. And again, all of this is so that we can benefit from the process of drawing about this unification, that we can become the ones who become the recipients of the light of Malchus, as well as those who draw down the light of Malchus, so that we benefit from the Yegia of our Kapayim, so that we benefit from the fruit of our labor, so that when we receive the gifts of the Yichud of Malchus in and of her own self, which is Megala Zayin, and the Malchus to Ein Sof, which is Megala on the loftiest levels of Yichud imaginable, the Yichud b'Metzias and the Yichud b'Shlita, the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is singular in existence and singular in the governance that he has over existence, and that prior to the creation of the Tzimtzum, all that existed was the Yichud b'Metzias, all that existed was HaKadosh Baruch Hu at the beginning of existence, where he was singular in existence, but there was no element of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Hanhaga, there was no element of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's governance, because there was nothing to be governor over. And so the entire process of the Tzimtzum Kavyachol is to create the Dargin, Klal Yisrael, in that middle space that appears to be devoid of the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so that now the Yichud b'Metzias, the essential unity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in existence, and the Mechuyev HaMetzias can also express in a secondary Yichud, which is the Yichud of Shlita, which is the Yichud Tata, which is the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is manhig every element of the Welt. That has to come about through our own efforts, so that we are not ashamed to look the giver of that gift in the face when we come to realize that we have earned or we have pretended to try and earn the revelation of that light. And what we're talking about now, we're ending up this Nakuda in the Ramchal of describing the Keshet. We said that the Keshet was that os that was the Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the Shem Kale, that gets drawn down into the Shakai to reveal the unity at the heart of disunity, or it's the Yud that gets drawn down into the Shin and the Dalid, which reveals the wholeness that is inherent within that which appears absent, and we connect it to the Shofar. And now we're going to continue to discuss what happens when this connection between above and below, between the Taryag of the body, between the Taryag of external reality that appears to be devoid of meaning, when it appears to be disconnected from the Taryag of meaning, from the Taryag mitzvos, from that impregnation of meaning that comes about from above. V'hinei acher shechet Adam. After Adam Arishon was choita, and he partook of the Eitz Hadas Tov Ra, where there's a severing between the Tov and the Ra, there's the Taryag above and there's the Taryag below. And what we referred to in the name of the Ramchal, in the name of Chazal, was that Moishech Ba'arlaso Haya, that Adam Arishon on a certain level was concealing, the Atar Sabris was concealing that inherent unification of that Os Yud with the Shin Dalet of the shade, so there was a separation between the two. And so V'achar Chet Adam, Kvar Shamata Ich Gavra Ha'orla, Ad shehigia hadavar lahashkis ha'olam b'mabul. Again, we're on Daf Tas Vav in the Rav Shariki Machon Haramchal edition. So we already spoke about how, as a result of the transgression of Adam Arishon, it was the element of reconcealing the Nekuda Sabris that was Niskala, which is this inherent connection between above and below, between the fulfillment and the deficiency. Ad shehigia hadavar lahashkis ha'olam b'mabul, to the point that it became almost as if the entirety of creation, that this experiment Kavyachol, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create this middle space wherein the light of unity is concealed, so that we can be the ones to connect the beginning and the end through the secret of the Yichud of the Reisha and the Seifa, through that secret of the Yichud b'Metzias and the Yichud b'Shlita, the revelation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in charge of every single element of existence, from the day to day to the moment to moment, from the geopolitical to the most particular in terms of inner spirituality. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is as present in all of those pratim as he was in the Yichud b'Metzias and the Yichud Ilah beforehand. But that became concealed to the degree that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was going to give up Kavyachol, and he was going to erase the Yakum. He was going to create an entire new world. He was going to create an entire new playing field where this inherent connection could perhaps take place in an easier way, that we couldn't stand the test of the Bechira. Ubanoach shahayamahul chazru hadavarim litaken v'husham hakeshet shehu ha'ois. But what happens is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals that tzaddik, the Nekuda of Noach, is a big tzaddik, and that Noach is mohul, and Noach reveals that Nekuda Sabris, that Atar Sabris, and he reveals that no, there in fact can be a connection between above and below, and the separation between the two of them does not mean that we can never traverse the boundary back into Gan Eden, but rather we still have the capacity through the Hiskashrus to the Nekuda of Tzaddik, to the Nekuda of Simcha, which is the secret of Yonah ben Amitai, which is the secret of Mashiach ben Yosef, the secret of Noach HaTzaddik, Shaya Mahul, and he reconnected to the Inyan of the Mila of revealing that Atar Sabris. And at that point, everything returned back to the way that it was meant to be, where we were once again tasked with the ability of unifying above and below the taryag externality of the body and the taryag interiority of the mitzvos themselves. We had the capacity to connect the two again. V'husham hakeshet shu ha'os, and what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did now when we revealed through the koyach of Noach, through the koyach of Noach was a big tzaddik, and the koyach of a tzaddik to be machaber shmaya va'ara, and to force kaviyachal HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hand to reveal a bris of shalom. So what happens is that not only does Noach reveal that the Mila is still apparent and that we still have the ability of connecting above and below, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals the Keshet, which is the fact that even when it appears that the separation abides, nevertheless, it has been proven that human beings have the inherent capacity of drawing down on this unity, and because we have the inherent capacity of drawing down on this unity, it's as if that inherent unity is always perpetually present. And the secret of the lamdas of kol haroi labila in bila ma'akevespo, that's something that has a particular condition in order for it to be real. As long as that condition is in possibility of being accomplished, it is as if on a certain potential level that it is accomplished, and even devoid of the actualization of that potential, the reality of the potential is enough to make it as if it is already actualized. Meaning to say that once Noach has revealed that we have the ability of being mechaber ourselves again to the Nekuda Sabris, to the Nekuda of Tzadik Yisod Olam, of the Shmira and the Simcha and the Amuna and the Shalom of what it means to attach oneself to a Tzadik, to attach oneself to the inner pillar of all things, to the inner pillar of light that HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals into the world, into the Or HaGanuz, the Nikud of Tzaddik within ourselves. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu now reveals the Keshet, which is the sign that Hashem says, I understand that you have the inherent capacity, and therefore it will never be erased. I will never erase everything, because it is clear that on the irreducible level of the very texture of existence exists the Nikuda of Chen, the Nikuda of Noach, the Nikuda of the ability of the unification of above and below. And all of the signs that will be drawn down from above afterwards, through the mitzvos, through the tefillin, through the tzitzis, all of the hamshacha of that upper taryag down to the lower taryag, of the yud into the shade, of the vav into the matzah to create the mitzvah, of the zun, of the zer anpin, the atar yisoid into malchus itself. All of those further connections and unifications are going to be dependent upon and founded upon the reality of this keshet, which is the secret of the fact that Hashem has revealed to us that I know that that inherent connection exists, and therefore I promise to never fully destroy, because things will always have the ability of being repaired. That there's no such thing as Yayush. Adam Arishon operated in a place of Asur Lihit Yayish. Adam Arishon operated in a place where it was forbidden to give up hope, because he could fall into the pits of hopelessness, as if something can't be fixed. And that was the chait of the Eitz Hadas. But with Noach HaTzadik, when we come to be Negala, the Nekuda of Tzadik, and Tzadik B'Amunaso Yichya, and the secret of Yonah ben Amitai, of Mibetan Shol Sha'avasi, so we come to reveal that it's Ein Shem Yesh B'Elam Klal. It's not Asur Lehit Yesh. The Isser of Yesh was already transgressed by Adam Arishon in the chait of Gan Eden. That's why he was kicked out. And it's only by Noach that we see the secondary expression of Ein Shem Yesh B'Elam Klal. Even when it appears that there's actual Yesh, there's no such thing as Yesh. And Hashem now takes that as the foundational starting point of all future avodah, so that there's never going to be a sense that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to have to destroy the world, God forbid, because everything is always perpetually ascending from the point that it started. We don't have to start again, God forbid, especially because there's the Nikud of Eretz Yisrael, where there was no Mabul. That's the Nikud of Noach, that's the Nikud of the Teva, as we're going to see Be'ezras Hashem from the Ramchal as we continue. Rak HaHefer. So does that mean that those connections are always going to be revealed? Is that what the Keshet reveals, that all of the connections between above and below are always going to be perpetually revealed? Or does it mean that they'll be concealed, but we'll have a different understanding of what concealment means? And Zaktar Ramchal, Rak HaHefer, what's the difference? V'hinei achar shenigla HaKeshet, once the Keshet was revealed, Loi Chazar Lichasos Od. Once Hashem revealed the rainbow, once Hashem revealed the unity of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the Chesed, the Gvur, and Tiferes, and the Hischabris, the Nikud of Yesod, and the Hamshacha from the Yesod down to Malchus, which is the secret of David, Malka, Mashiach, which is the Regel Haravi of the Merkava, the Yichud of the Avos, which is Shachris, Mincha, and Mariv, with David, Malka, Mashiach, which is the secret of Tikkun Chatzos. So what happens is once Hashem reveals the Keshet, there's no concealment as it existed prior to the emergence of Noach. The concealment of the world as it existed after Adam Arishon, to the degree that it appeared that that connection was lost and that it won't be reconnected again, that level of concealment will never ascend into the world ever again. So what's the difference? The light can be illuminated, or the light can be darkened in accordance with certain concealment elements that exist in a person's life that conceal the light. But nevertheless, there's no longer any capacity of this being removed entirely. By Adam HaRishon, there was the sense that things can be removed entirely, even though that was never true to begin with, because they were never erased entirely. It only came to that point of Yeyush, of the Mabul, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to be Megalazain on the fact that Ein Shem Yesh B'Olam Klal, and that Adam HaRishon is Chai V'Kayim in the secret of Adam, David, and Mashiach. But it's specifically through the Keshet that's revealed that now we're never afraid that things will be fully concealed, because nothing can be fully concealed. We've come to realize that. But there's still a world of concealment. So what that means is that things can be concealed or revealed on an external level, but that doesn't mean that they're not present at their core. Things are always revealed at their core. Things are always real and activated in the fullest form of actualization in the realm of potential. By the Shirish, everything is muvurar. By the Shirish, everything is or ein sof. It's only in the anaf, it's only in the branches and the expressions and the expressible, tangible elements of experience that can be grasped by the sensual experience of the mind, body, and the soul that we're going to find this shift between revelation, concealment, revelation or concealment, but there will never be a time where there's absolute concealment to the core. And this nikud of the keshet, this sign that there will always be an innermost point of connectivity between above and below, in spite of the external appearances of the shifts between the connection of above and below. This is the bechina hapnimius hanisgala b'ha'aretz hashirish hanikshar alalamoi. This is the illumination of the interiority of the source as it remains connected to the expression of its concealment afterwards. This is the secret of the Nekuda Hapnimis that perpetually exists, refined and connected, like the Ramchal said previously. That's the secret of the Torah, which is not just the externality of something that was once interior, but rather it's the unfolding of the interior and the inversion of itself so that the interior is now revealed externally and it remains the internal thing in spite of its externalization. And this element of the unbreakable bond and the irreducible bonds of connection that exist between above and below, between the inherent rightness and all rightness and connectivity and purposefulness and the meaninglessness that exists in spite of all things, is true only for Klal Yisrael, not for any other form of human experience, no other nations of the world. It's not that Klal Yisrael is better than the nations of the world. The nations of the world are on a particular level, and Klal Yisrael has a singularly unique capacity to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a way that it ascends from the level of Umas Ha'olam, as the Kuzari points out. Kilahem Hamila v'chol shar mitzvos, because they have the secret of Mila, they have the secret of the connectivity, the mitzvos, the Taryag mitzvos, and all of the other mitzvos, which can now be drawn down and revealed to be the inherent connection between above and below. And it's specifically through those mitzvos and through the bris milah, the ateres hayesod, the escalas of the panemius, the nikuda of tzaddik yisod olam. That's where we are going to now be able to receive those signs, those significant expressions from above, revealing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the hyper significance of all things. It's the meaning of all things. It's the light of the Torah. It's the light of the mind. It's the seichel sheb'chol davar, and we can see that revealed in every element. V'lahem ro'i hagiloi hazeh, and it's specifically to Klal Yisrael who are worthy of such a revelation. V'hu sod, and this is the secret of v'nifleinu ani ve'amcha. This is when Moshe Rabbeinu, the Tzaddik Yisod Olam, says that it is a wonderment, me and my nation, shehispalel Moshe, that Moshe Rabbeinu davened, that Moshe Rabbeinu recognized that there's a Pella Elyon, there's a wondrous thing when it comes specifically to Klal Yisrael and no other nation, and it's the secret of the Osos, it's the secret of the ability to inherently reveal the connection between above and below, between the fullness and the emptiness. V'hu sod, and it's the secret of Neged Kol Amcha E'esen Nifla'os She'amar Loi HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's the secret of, in accordance to all of the other nations, that in response to your nation, I am going to create wondrous things. Nafal os, niflaos, the wonder of the sign. Sha'amar Loi HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe, it's specifically your people that are going to have the capacity of revealing that Pella, and that's the Pella of Geula, which is the secret of Neged, that the Shem Neged from the Shem Ayin Beis, which is Nagibor Dorshe Chudcha Kavav Hashamrim, the Shem that is associated with not Chesed, not Gevura, but Teferes, the third stage, which represents the Yichud of Panim El Panim. Neged, that Tzadikim said, is specifically going to be the secret of where Mashiach Tzidkenu comes from, specifically from within within the Hisnagda, specifically from within the rumblings of confusion and disruption and war and all of these difficulties, is specifically where Geula comes from. V'kan niglis hanevua shenasan habaruchu hakadosh baruch hu liyisrael. This is the place of prophecy. This is the secret of the irreducible point of connectivity that exists singularly between the Jewish people and Klal Yisrael. Because in truth, what Klal Yisrael has, this inherent keshet, this inherent connection between the innermost panemius and the most externalized externalities to reveal the inherent connection between the two of them, that is not something that belongs in this world. From the external nature of Malchus, this doesn't appear to be a possibility. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu has gifted us with the matana of the Torah, not only in Nevuah, but in the secret of the Chacham Adif Minavi, in the secret of Ruach HaKodesh, which what the Ramchal is drawing down to each and every one of us, that this is unique, singularly unique to Klal Yisrael, that they live with this unbreakable knowledge of the inherent connection that exists, the Pella, the wonderment between above and below. All of this, in truth, exists beyond the external nature of the world. They don't have a right to this. It's not that we're better, it's not that we're worse, they just don't have it. They don't have that koyach, they weren't chosen for it. All they have is the external taryag. They have the Sheva mitzvos, they have the elements of the externalized body of existence, the ability to refine, build, fix, fight. But ultimately, they don't have the inner content. They don't have the Nakuda of Yud that can be drawn down to illuminate the Shin Dalid to give life to the external nature of things. V'hine kvar amarti, says the Ramchal. I've already told you, Shebechinas Keshet Zeh, this rainbow, this sign that points to the inherent connection between above and below, in spite of the externalized appearance that there's a separation between above and below. Kivan shepagam echad higia lahagolus lo ya'avar min ha'olam oid. Once it has been defiled in exile, it doesn't make a difference. It will never be removed again. It will never be concealed again fully. El shiyochel lehiskasais bekisuyim hamachshechem. It can be concealed in the concealment elements of darkness, kamaisha kasuv, as we're going to explain later on. The kasher nechasa asu begolus, and when it is concealed, it is in a state of exile. That is what exile is, where the inherent light of connectivity that is always already present, like we've spoken about, why Rabbeinu sent people to learn the Mesilas Yesharim, because it's the secret of the treasure that rests within our house already, that we don't have to go anywhere to find what we need. Kasher nichnas asu begolus. When that's concealed, we enter into exile. But when that which is always already present and irreducible in its essential form is revealed from its concealment elements, as Geula. This is the secret of Geula. This is the secret of the inner Geula, the external Geula. And this is seeing the Keshet to illuminate the fact that there is a perpetual bond of love and connection and interdependency upon Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'nimtza, says the Ramchal, sha'oisais hem haksharim hanimshachim mebechinas ha'ois hazeh shemekashrim hashayrish al ha'anaf. So all of the other osas, all of the other mitzvos, and all of the things that we're going to do to draw down the taryag mitzvos, to be mashlum, the externality of the taryag evari haguf, all of those osos, the mitzvos of tzitzis and tefillin, all of them are inherently founded upon and connected to this singular shayresh of the os, which is the keshet, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his hiskalos, that there is an irreducible connection through the secret of Bris Milah between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so that even when the external signs and osos of the external mitzvos, which are either a person is doing them or God forbid a person is not doing them, and it seems to be that that valve is what controls the exposure to revelation or concealment. In truth, says the Ramchal, there is an inherent bond of connection that exists prior to and underneath those stages of connection or disconnection. Therefore, it informs both the stages of connection and disconnection, revealing that even in a state of disconnection, there is an inherent level of connection that continues to exist at the shayresh of al ha'anaf. V'sodam hatzitzis v'atfilin v'chol shehu me'inyanim. All of those other signs that we draw down that are connected to this inherent os are all those secrets of the mitzvos. Ve'ele lo nistalku v'lo yistalken me'olam. And those in their core have never fully been revealed. Ela ad shelo hayu atufim b'ma'ata choshech hazeh. But that was prior to the concealment that was present in the darkening concealment that a person experiences in their lives. Hayu niglim le'einenu. We saw these osos. We saw that which was perpetually present. V'oisim lanu oisim ha'anyanim ha'toivim asher asalanu. And in the times of revelation, they performed the tasks that they needed to perform. Those osos drew down the lights of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It was revealed to us. V'achshav, but now, But now in a time of concealment, lo tamar she'enam. We can't say that they're not there. Ki harayeshnam, because they are there, like we just said. They're there on a potential level. But as a result of the concealment, we haven't seen them. So when we complain about the lack of a Kadosh Baruch Hu's revelation, and we scream over the absence of a Kadosh Baruch Hu's Gilui in our lives and the world at large, so it is our responsibility to be ever aware of the fact that we're not saying that it's not there. We're not saying that there's an actual tzimtzum, God forbid. We're saying that avada, it's there, it's all there, but on the level of the playing field where we have to operate in concealment or revelation, we have to demand that it be revealed in more of a revealed way. But it doesn't mean it's not there. Avada, it's there. There's a covering. It's no longer an absence or a presence, but a concealment or a revelation, which reveals again the ever-present nature of all things, which is the secret of the yichud. And this is what the pasuk says in Tehillim, what David Malka Mashiach says, what Malchus itself says. We have not seen our signs. We have not seen our signs. It doesn't say we haven't seen the signs, meaning we're possessive over the signs. They are our signs, and we know the signs to be ours. We know them to be in our possession, but we're still saying they're not present. If they were not ours and there was no presence of them, we would say, Osos lo ra'inu. There are no signs that were seen. But now we're saying our signs are not seen. They're still our signs, but they're not seen. They're there, but they're not revealed because they're concealed. Ella oisesenu. Rather, what's missing is our signs. They're ours because they operate on a concealed level, perpetually operating in the depths of Yichud Ilah, which is perpetually marching forward through the secret of the Noira Alila al Bnei Adam and the Yichud Ha'elion of the Yichud B'Hanhaga and the Yichud B'Metzias. They're always there, osos there's always signs. Vehim haksharim ha'ila, and those connections always exist. Because the connection of above and below, Zeranpin and Malchus, the Teresa Yisoid and Malchus, niksharim ha'yidei b'tfila b'roish, b'tfila b'yad. There's always an inherent connection. The mitzvos exists prior to our performance of those mitzvos. But we haven't seen them. We haven't seen them with our eyes. We can't see them ayin ba'ayin. We can't experience the light of Yichud Ilah within Yichud Tata yet. We can't live in accordance with the Shamayim in the Aretz. Right now we still live in a way that Aretz is separate from Shamayim. And the fears of the Aretz feel very different from the trust, the Amun and the Bitachon of Shamayim. But the Avodah is to reveal that the Amun and Bitachon of Shamayim is always already inherent within the Pach of the Aretz. Niksharim al Yedeyim. They're always connected. We just don't see them. And we haven't seen the wonders. We haven't seen the miracles. We haven't seen the transformative expressions of your unity, of your capacity to be Yachid b'Metzius, singular in existence, as well as singular in Shlita, to have the capacity to refine and direct history at every moment in accordance with the way that you want, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we haven't seen those osos, but we know that they're there. We know that they're there. Habayim mehem behem shech mamish. We haven't seen neged kol amcha es neflos. We haven't seen the secret of neged kol amcha es neflos yet. We haven't seen the geula habayim mehem behem shech mamish, which are going to emerge and which are going to be revealed. Umisha'a shenichnusu ela ha'oises hine lo haya oid navi v'lo yodea adma. And when those lights are concealed, when the light of Moshe Rabbeinu is concealed, when the light of the Tzaddik Yisod Olam is concealed, when the light of the inherent connection is concealed, yes, it's avada there, but it still appears concealed, so it appears that there's no connectivity. It appears that a person is in a stage of darkness. It appears that a person is operating now in a state of separation and disconnected from above and below, which is the state of the Welt, which is the state of Metzius. And what we started with was to try and also read a tefillah from Rabbeinu Ramchal to be ma'ira, the Rachamim Rabim that the Torah of the Ramchal holds for us, to be mamshich, the Yichud b'Metzius, into the Yichud of Shlita, and from the Yichud of Shlita, Yichud b'Hanhaga, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's ownership over this world, we can then go back upwards to the Yichud Ilah to reveal the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Yichud b'Metzius, b'Yeser Sa'es, b'Yeser Oz, as the Rebbe was discussing last night. But let's look at the tefillah Kuf Ayin Hey in the Taktu Tefillos from Rabbeinu Ramchal, where he's speaking about what happens in exile, where he's speaking about what happens in the concealment of exile when it appears that the natural order of things are covering over all avenues of hope, and ultimately it's a crying out from that very place, from that being nitva in Teva, almost drowning within Teva itself, and being caught up in the externalities of things while forgetting the nature of the inherent, which is the secret of redemption. Zak Ramchal, El Echad Yochid Miyuchad. Singular God, singular in all forms of singularity, in each and every category of singularity. El Hashem b'tzarasali karasi v'aneni. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I have cried out to you in my pain, and you have answered me. Shari kol briyos leilamecha b'shimcha kadosh sidarta sidram. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in truth, as we've seen in Adir BaMarom, that everything operates in accordance with the Yud, the K, the Vav, and the K, the Shem Havaya, the Shem Ha'etzem, which is the secret of the connection between above and below. Bekam Shemas Kadoshim Shelcha Nasata Lahem Siurim Ve'ein Shum Partzif Doim Lechaveru Shari Kol Echad Yesh Leichoitim Shalo B'Shem Kodesh Shaboy Nechta Mutzuraso. Each and every creature, each and every formation, each and every name operates in its singularity. Each and everything is its own singular universe, its own prat. Ba'asisa, and each and everything operates in accordance to the Shem Havaya. Ba'asisa kol tzura shenichel b'yamin v'smol ba'emsa. And you've created each and everything so that there should be a balance between the sides, between the right, the left, and the center, between Chachma, Bina, and Das, that there should be an inherent unity between the beginning, the middle, and the end, in spite of the fact that the beginning appears to be disconnected from the middle and the end appears to be disconnected from the middle. Our avoida is the secret of the Yichud HaEmsa, and there should be Yichud between the Yamin, Small, the Emsa, the Yeshe, Yamin Goy there, and there's sometimes where the right side is overwhelming, and there's sometimes where the smile is Goiva or Emsa, but what we need is the secret of the Mitkala, the Chosura Shashaletes, Ein Yichal Lipail El Lefi Hashefa, Ateva Shanasata Levishem Elohim, Ateva Shaboy Nasata Gvul, V'choik L'chai Echad Shiyamid B'tiva. In HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have arranged reality in such a way that the external nature of things, the natural order of things, the Shem Elohim, which is the gematria of Hateva, which is 86, ultimately is what is going to orient all of the unfolding processes that you have placed in them from the beginning. And in moments where there is severity in the world, in the moments where there is harsh judgment in the world, it operates on a level where apparently HaKadosh Baruch Hu is unable or not going to change the way that the Hanhaga is going to take place. Because the secret of the natural order of things, the way things are supposed to go, is that they're caught up within the restrictive boundaries that the Shem Elohim has formed, and it appears that that is the way that the externality of the world is rooted, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu obviously is the one who rooted it, but ultimately it appears that it is stuck in its forms of operation, Kolzman, that it's connected to the Shem Elohim. But when it comes to your Shem Ha'amiti, the Shem Havaya, your holy name, it stands above all of the names. When it comes to the Shem Havaya, when it comes to the Sichur of Yichud, you have full capacity to shift and rearrange all of the orders and to create them anew in accordance with your true desire. And even in times where judgment is unleashed upon the world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you should remove those who appear to be in some element of power from their placement, and you should place something more gentle in their place to the point that it appears that the world is mitkayim. Ribono kol ha'amin, master of all of the worlds, zamanta chevle Mashiach b'soif galuseinu ve'istzarhi liYaakov. You have arranged for the birth pangs of Mashiach at the end of exile, and it's a moment of pain and a moment of distress for Yaakov Avinu, for Klal Yisrael. And all of the dargan, all of the revelations, everything in the world seems to be caught up in a strict judgment and a harsh din. And so too is it written in your Torah, when it's difficult for you, when it's contained for you, when it's concealed for you, and you will find all of these things in the end of days, towards the end of days. And even though we daven in front of you, our tefillos are not heard. It's the secret of Oisaseinu L'Ra'inu, because all of the madregos and all of the revelations and the Taryaka Ivarim are caught up in concealment and judgment. And we cannot find any relief or good from them. And ultimately, the impoverished ones, the malchus of our spirits, are crying out for lechem and mayim, and there's nothing. And all of the gates seem to be closed, and all of the storehouses and the places of wealth are concealed in great concealment. And our tefillos awaken them of Abazman Shmilas Shlitas Dina, but because it's still operating in the time of din in the Shem Elohim, it's only expressed in minimal amounts, and the light that descends down is not enough to bring us out into a place of expansivity. It's a difficult moment. But the Shem Havaya stands above, ascendant from all of the arrangements and the orders of this worldly existence, and has the ability to transform this and that immediately in accordance with his will. El Hashem, it's directly to the Shem Havaya in my pain that I cry cry out and he answers me. Shem zeh say derachamim yisader lamcha beis Yisrael. This name, as we saw in the Drush HaKivui, the Shema Etzem, is going to be Ma'ir Rachamim Rabim on Klal Yisrael. Shari Kfar Koishul Kayach Hasavel, because we don't have the capacity to tolerate it anymore. Vim Garmu B'chater Seichem V'yelchu B'loi Kayach Lefnei Roidev, and we follow in our steps of our transgressions, and we have no power in the face of those who chase us. Bizman Shekvar Chaser Kol Kayach Afilu Mehamedregos Hakadosh Shroitzev Lehetiv Lahem. When there's no more Kayach, when there's no more expressivity and vitality within even the holy levels that want to be beneficent to us. In that moment, we cry out to your name, Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Shem Havaya, the Shem Ha'etzem, which contains all expressions, which is the Sharish of the Yichud Ilah, which is the Shem Havaya Ha'atzmi, which is the secret of or Ein Sof Mamish, and our inability to grasp anything whatsoever other than the name itself. You give the tired strength, and you transform their strength. Din b'chesed, you transform din with chesed, and you reveal chasadim v'tzara v'ratzon, and all of the concealment, which are the letters of tzadi reishei, are transformed into ratzon, which are reich tzadi vav nun. Shekin heim mekavim lefanecha leman koyach shimcha, because we hope towards you in the merit of your name. Shekvar yoidim, for we already know she'ein shum chusham maga'eslo. There's no weakness by you, Rebbeinu Shloim. Dichsev Eloi kei oilam Hashem lo yiyaf v'lo yiga, because we already know, Rebbeinu Shloim, there's no exhaustion by you, there's no sleep by you. And just as we yearn towards this name, which knows no slumber and it knows no sleep and it knows no exhaustion, so too Klal Yisrael will be refilled and sustained with strength in spite of the fact that they're exhausted, in spite of the fact that they're tired. And all of the levels of your holiness are going to come down and fulfill all of existence and the strength and the power of your holy name. And this is the secret of Yisrael Isachayel, that Yisrael has the strength. Yamin Hashem Roimim, Yamin Hashem Isachayel, the Koive Hashem Yachlifu Koyach, and those who yearn towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu and hope towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu are going to have a transformation of hope and strength. Vadai, it's certain. Because all of the exhaustion only exists down here below, in the secret of the Taryag externals, but not in the inner interiority of things. In the place where the osos don't seem to be seen, that's where the ayefos is. But in the secret of the keshet, and that the osos are always there, that's the revelation that it's always present. Aval lamala lamala, above, b'makom shlita shimcha kadosh shem havaya baruch hu, v'adei lo yayef lo yagia. B'vadei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's no silence, there's no exhaustion there. V'afal pi shem b'madregos hayonis gavoya me'al gavoya. And even though these levels are such lofty levels, they're lofty upon loftiness. Shein aliyasam shel b'nei adam magaes l'sham. We have no ability to ascend upwards there. In the secret of our hope and our yearning, as we saw in Drush HaKivui, hope has the capacity of ascending upwards even to the Shem Havaya itself. Those who yearn towards the Shem Havaya, they will be the ones to have a transformation and a rejuvenation of strength. Yalu Ever. We can ascend higher than any place of ascension to the place of the Shem Havaya Atzmi. And through that we draw down the renewal from above down below. To give to the weakened strength and to give to those who have no answers what they need. And your unity and the ultimate unification of all things should be revealed upon us, that we are so desperately yearning to ascend upwards towards the elevation of all things to the face of your grandeur and your holiness. In truth, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we understand that you run your entire creation with a hanhaga that is concealed and hidden away, that there's no kitrug, there's no concealment. It's the yichud of yichud b'metzias and the yichud b'shlita and the yichud of the emtza with the yichud of the roish and the soif and the seitzara hili yaakov mimenu yifashay adaika lahabid ba ela hashemer emes la'olam. The only one who's able to see that hanhaga hagnuza, as Leshem describes in the Noira Alila al bnei Adam, is you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Va'ad sham tagia tikvasenu, but our hope reaches you there. U'biyachudcha and in your unity you should reveal yourself to us and take us out of pain and open up a place that was once closed. to your capacity, there's no limitation. Echad, Yachad, Miyuchad. Rabbeinu Shalom, in your unity and your unified koyach of Yachad b'Metzias and Yachad b'Shlita, your purified and unified existence in the simplest form of all possible simplicity, devoid of all complication, devoid of all condition, the chayiv and the mechuyev b'Metzias should be makusher to the manhig ha'atzmo, the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the manhig ha'olam, and those unifications between above the levels and within the levels themselves, the concealed and the revealed, should be unified to reveal that there is nothing other than you, Lishwascha kivisi Hashem, towards your salvation, I hope, Rabbeinu Shalom, Be'ezras Hashem.